Hello students, welcome back to Unix programming class. In the previous class we have seen the changing of permissions in relative mode. Today we will see how to change permissions in absolute mode, absolute permissions. So here we need not to know the current file system, current file permissions. Okay, previously what we did in relative method was we were changing only those permissions which we were interested in, and the rest of the permissions we were not bothering, right? We were not disturbing it. But here it is not like that. If we want to change the permissions, entire permissions we are going to change. Okay, so for that purpose we need not know what is the current permission. Okay, we can set all 9 permissions explicitly. So all 9 permissions, 3 for user, 3 for group, 3 for others, all those 9 permissions explicitly at a time we can set. A string of 3 octal digits is used as an expression. So there in the relative method we used to use UGO for representing categories, plus and minus operators to assign or remove the permissions, and RWX for giving the permissions, right? RWX letters were used to represent the read, write and execute permissions. But here we are using octal digits. Okay, we are using the octal digits to represent the permissions. Okay, let us see how it is. The permission can be represented by one octal digit for each category. Octal digit means 0 to 7, base 8, isn't it? So 0 to 7 numbers we will use, decimal numbers we will use for representing the permissions. Permission can be represented as read permission 4, you can say, that is 100. So here you can see this 100 where 1 is there. See here we use R, W and X, right? R, W and X. So where, in which place 1 is there, it is providing that permission. Okay, so in which place 1 is there, in the place of R 1 is there, in the place of W and in the place of X 0 is there. So it is representing absence of W, that is write permission, and absence of execution permission. 1 represents presence of read permission. So it is representing the read permission. Are you understanding here? So here what we say, this is for read, this is for write, this is for execute. Okay, so where 1 is there, in the place of read 1 is there, so it is representing the read permission. And in binary 100 means what it is 4, right? It is representing the octal number 4, so hence 4 represents the read permission. Are you understanding? So this 4 represent the read permission. Similarly, 2 represents the write permission, isn't it? In the place of R there is a 0, in the place of X there is a 0, but in the place of W there is a 1. So it represents the write permission. Is that clear? So 0, 1, 0 in binary is 2 in octal. So it is write permission. 2 represents write permission. Okay. Then similarly, can you guess what is for execution permission? Execution permission is the 1 in the last place, right? 1 in the last place. 001. What it represents? 001 represents execute permission. 001 in binary means 1 in octal. So 1 represents the execution permission. 4 is read permission. 2 is write permission and 1 is execution permission. Is that clear? So this is how we represent. You can have combinations also, combination of permissions also. Let us see how is it possible. See, this table will tell you how you can give permissions, combination of permissions also. So here this first column will represent the octal numbers. Okay, this first column will represent the octal numbers, and the second column will tell you the binary equivalent of octal numbers, and then the column here, this is permissions column, tells you what permissions these binary numbers or octal numbers are representing, and the final column will tell you the explanation of that permission. Okay, so let us see. Here first let us take 0. So when you take octal 0, it is binary 0 0 0, right? 0 0 0 means no one at all in this string, right? No one at all. So no one at all means no permission at all, no read, no write, no execute permission. So it is no permissions. Dash 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 means no permissions for any category of user. Any permission is not given. Okay. Similarly, if you take 1, so what is 1? It is 0 0 1 in binary. That means read is 0, write is 0, execution is 1. So it will give you execution permission, execute only. This is the permission for execute only. Okay, then let us go for 2. So we have seen this, right? In the place of 2, here it is 0 1 0, which is binary equivalent, right? Do you know how this binary number is written? Using 8421 code, right? Using this 8421 code, we write the binary equivalents, right? So here when you say 1, in the place of 1, 1 is present. When you say 2, in the place of 2, 2 is present. Similarly, when you say 3, it is 1 plus 2. So it is combination of 1 plus 2, right? So similarly, if you write 4, in the place of 4, 1 is present. Okay. Similarly, 5, it is 4 plus 1. So it is 4 plus 1. So it is 5. Okay. Similarly, 6 means 4 plus 2. It is 6, 1, 1. In the place of 4 and 2, it is 6. Similarly, 7 means 4 plus 2 plus 1. Okay. So that's why we are writing numbers like this. Okay. The binary equivalents using 8421 code we are writing. Okay. This is how the binary equivalents are found. Then let us see, 2 we finished, right? Let us go for 3. So what is this 3? 3 is 1 and 1 in the place of write and execute. See this write and execute. 1 and 1 in the place of write and execute. So it is write and execute permission, right? Then 4. 4 means only 1 in the place of read. So only read permission. It is read only. This permission 100 or 4 will represent read only. Okay. So this is 4 in binary and 4 in octal, right? 100 is 4 in binary, right? Okay. Then let us take 5. 5 is 101. That means read dash x. So write permission is not there. So read and execute. It is only read and execute. So now if you take 6, it is 110. 110 means read and write permission, no execution permission. In the place of x there is a 0, right? So x is absent. That means execution permission is not given. Read and write permission it is. Okay. Then finally 111, it represents all permissions. In the place of all RWX, it is 1. So it represents all permissions, read, write and execution permission. If you give 7, it is read, write and execution permission. Is that clear? So this table will particularly tell you what octal numbers represent what permissions. These octal numbers only we are using in absolute method to give the permissions. Okay. So let us see some examples. So first let us say ls minus l x start. The same x start file we have taken here. So let us first check what are the default permissions, current permissions of x start. So this is the current permission of x start. So we have read, write and execute for user and read permissions only for group and others, right? No other permission is there for group and others, only read permission. Now if you say chmod 666, so now 6, what is 6? In the previous thing you saw, right? Here 6 means R and W, that means read and write permission. So what happens here? 666 means read and write permission for all of them. Okay, read and write permission for all of them. Okay, so here it will display, it will take read and write permission for all of them. Okay, sorry, here this is a mistake. So here RW for all of them will be given. Okay, RW for all of them will be given. It will change everything. Okay, previous permissions it will not consider. It will change every permission. Read RW dash, RW dash, RW dash should be displayed. Okay. Similarly, now if you say chmod 644. So what happens here? Chmod 644 means 6 is read permission. What is 4? 4 is read only. 6 is read and write. Okay, 6 is read and write. 4 is read only. So what it will give you? 644. So this first 6 is for user, 4 is for group, and this 4 is for others. Okay, first 6 is for group, sorry, user, second one is for group, and third one is for use others. Okay, so 644 will give you 6 is read and write permission for user, 44 only read permission for group and others. Okay, so it is changing like this. 6 is read and write permission, so you can see here read and write permission for user, 4 for read permission for group, and 4 for read permission for others. So that is how we are giving the permissions. Is that clear? Similarly, take up the next example, 761. So what is 7? What is 7? 7 is 111, right? 7 is 111 means all permissions are given. No absence of permission. All permissions are present. Read, write and execute, right? So, when you say 7, read, write and execute permission for user. 6 means 110. That means RW. Execution is not there. So, RW, you can see here RW for a group, and 1 is read permission, right? 1 is execution permission, 4 is read permission, right? 1 is execution permission. So here it should be execution. This is not read, this is execution permission. Okay, this is execution permission. Okay, so 761 means all permissions for user, read and write permission for group, and only execution permission for others. Okay, so that is how you give the absolute permission. You don't bother about what are the current permissions of the file. Everything absolutely you are going to change. That's why it is absolute mode of changing the permissions. Okay, is that clear? Okay, now that is how you change the permissions, but you should also take care of some security implications. So what are those security implications? So 000 if you give permission, 000 chmod 000 file name, then what happens? It is representing dash dash dash, absence of all permissions for all category of users, right? It represents absence of all permissions for all category of users. So your permission string will look like this, no permissions at all for any category of users. So the file become virtually useless. Is it useful if you don't give any permission? At least read permission if you don't give, will it be useful? It is virtually useless, right? Even you cannot access the file also. If you don't have read permission, you cannot access the file also. So at least read permission should be there for the file, isn't it? But still we can delete the file. If you don't have read permission also, you cannot access the file at all, but you have still permission to delete that file. That file becomes virtually useless, right? So you can delete that file. So this file becomes totally useless and but you can only delete it. There is no other option left, right? You can only delete it, you cannot access it. So then what is the security implication of 777? So you should be careful while giving the permission 000. So similarly, let us see what is about 777. 777 means 7 is 111, right? That means all permissions are present. So when you give 777, all permissions for all category of users. So which is plus RWX in the case of relative mode of giving permissions, right? So when you give 777, the permissions of the file will become RWX, 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 means all permissions for all category of users. So you must not be too generous, as this may be dangerous, right? So if you give all permissions to all category of users, you will be generous, and that may be dangerous to your file. So you should be very careful while giving right permission for group and others. Okay, so user means you yourself have created the file, you can modify the file, you can have the right permission. But for group and others, when you give right permission, very be careful. Okay, because if they change your files, if they modify your file contents, the original data will be lost, right? So you should not be too generous. You cannot have a secure system if you give all permissions to all category of users, because anybody can modify any file. Others means who are external to the organization, who are external to the system, right? So if you give right permission for external people also, then your system security will be under threat. So this will be too dangerous, this permission will be too dangerous. Similarly, this 000 is also dangerous, because if you don't give any permission to any category of user, that file becomes virtually useless. You cannot even access that file for reading. There is only one option left, that is you can delete it. Okay, so these is security implication. This is also a question paper question. So when security implications are asked, you should mention the permissions 000 and 777. Okay, and their implications. Only owner can change the file permissions. Okay, so when you use chmod, only owner can change the file permissions. User cannot change the user's files permissions. Okay, so user cannot change the user file permissions, but the system administrator can do. Okay, let us execute the absolute permissions and check. Okay, now here you can see the permissions of the file f1, ls minus l f1. If you say the permissions of the file, here you can see rw means all category of users having read and write permissions. So let us change that permission. Let us say chmod using absolute method. Chmod. So what shall we give? We'll give all permissions to all category of users. Okay, this is only for trial, but this can be very dangerous if you become too generous. So we'll see chmod 777 to a file called f1. Okay, 777 means rwx, because 7 is 111, right? So rwx for all category of users you are giving for the file f1. Okay, so it is changed. Let us see whether it is changed or not. Yes, when you see previously rw dash was there, so now all permissions are changed. Okay, so absolutely it is not bothering about what are the current permissions of the file. Everything absolutely it is going to change, but in relative method only the permissions which we are interested in will only be changed, and other permissions we are not going to disturb, right? Okay, then let us try some other permissions. Let us say chmod. We will remove the execution permission, write permission of group and others, and we will give all permissions to, see, you cannot give only two octal numbers or one octal number. You have to give all three octal numbers which represent permissions for all category of users. Okay, so let us give all permission to user and only read and execution permission for group and only read permission for others. Okay, so how will we give? All permission for group user means 7. Okay, all permission. So first permission, first octal number represents the permission for the user. Second octal number represent the permission for the group. So what we want to give the permission to group? Read and execute. So what is read and execute? It is 101. That means it is 5. Okay, then for others we are giving only read permission. So what is read permission? 100, which is 4, right? So we'll give 4 for the file f1. Let us say whether it changes. See what we are giving, all permissions to user, then read and execution permission to group and only read permission for others. Let us check whether it has changed or not. Yes, it has changed, right? All permissions to here you can see the permission string, all permission to the user, read and execution permission to group and only read permission for the others, right? So this is how you can change the permission for files using absolute method. Okay, and you should be careful while giving the permissions 000 and 777. Okay, that may be too dangerous for your system and it may affect the security of your system, right? I will not show you by giving the values 000 for the file, because that file becomes useless. You cannot even access. You should only delete it, right? So you also don't try that. Fine. Okay, let us check. Can we change the permissions for multiple files? Let us see. ls minus l, two files we will take, minus l, f1 and f2. So these are the permissions for f1 and f2. So let us give read and execution permissions for all the category of users for both f1 and f2. Okay, so read and execution permission means 101, right? Read, absence of write, execute. So 101, which is 5. Okay, so let us give 5 permission octal number for all the category of users. Let us say chmod 555 for both f1 and f2. It has changed. Okay, so let us see the permissions. Yes, read and execute permission for user, group and others are given. Write permission is not given for any category of users. Is the concept clear to you? And you can also use -r option for recursive changing. It will take all the below level, so directories, under that directory subdirectories if they are present, and files if they are present, all of them you can recursively give the permission. Okay, that is also possible. You can use chmod with -r option for recursive changing of the permission. Is that clear? Okay, let us move on to the next topic. Next, let us see the directory permissions. So directory permissions affect the permissions of the files under it. Let us say we have a directory called D1 and under that we have some subdirectories and files. Let us say there is a subdirectory S1, there is another subdirectory S2, there is a file called F1 and there is, let us say, another file called f2. Okay, there are two files and two subdirectories under d1. Okay, so let us say s1 s2 are subdirectories under d1, f1 f2 are the files under d1. Okay, so now even though all these directories and files are having permissions to read. Read means access and display the contents. Even though you have permission to read for all these files and subfolders, but if you don't have read permission for D1, you cannot access any of them. Okay, cannot access any one of them. So we can say that the directory permissions highly impact the accessing of the files, the permissions of the file. Directory permission override the permissions of the file within it. Okay, so even though you have execution permission for all of these files, but if you don't have execution permission for D1, then you cannot execute any one of these files under D1. Okay, so directory permissions will override the permissions of the files. Are you getting? Are you getting? So even though you have let us say faculty have class for 5th B, I can take the class for 5th B. But if HOD says don't take class for 5th B, then I should not take. I am ready to take. 5th B students are ready to listen. I have prepared all my material. So I have come to class and I am ready to take. But if HOD sir says don't take class, I will not take class, isn't it? So that is how it works. If the directory itself doesn't have the permission, then the files under it will not be having permission, even though their personal permissions are present, but directory permission will impact the permissions of the files under it. Is that clear? Okay, let us move on to the next point. A file can't be accessed even if it has read permission and can be removed even if it is write protected. Okay, see, I told you that it cannot be accessed even if it has read permission, but directory don't have read permission. And here it says removal. If the directory have write permission, then you can remove a file under that directory even if that file is write protected. So directory permissions will impact the permissions of the files under it. Okay, so file doesn't have write permission, but if directory have write permission, you can delete the file. Okay, so that is how the directory permissions work. A directory must never be writable by group and others. So please take care. Only user should have the write permission for directories. Group and others shouldn't have write permission for the directories, because they may modify, they may delete the existing files, or they may add any extra information. So that shouldn't happen. Okay. We can use chmod recursively. I told you, no, chmod recursively to change permissions of subdirectories and files under a directory. So those files, as we discussed just now, S1, S2, F1, F2, which is under D1, their permissions can be changed recursively, and even S1 and S2, they still have subdirectories. Their permissions can also be changed by using -R option for recursive changing. Okay, it will be like this: chmod -R A plus X. A plus X means for all category of users you are giving the execution permission for a file called shell scripts, isn't it? And recursively means it starts from your current directory, and below your current directory, what are all the subdirectories are there, under those subdirectories, if any subdirectories are there, files are there, every files and directories permissions will be changed. All of them will be given execution permission. Okay, so that is how -R option works with chmod. Then changing file ownership. So here, okay, this directory permissions, I will leave it to you as an exercise. You only execute and check. Okay. Then changing file ownership. So how you can change the ownership of the file? Ownership of the file means, suppose I have created a file. So now I am the user of the file or the owner of the file, but now I want to change the owner. Suppose if I am leaving my job, I have to do KT. What is KT? Knowledge transfer, right? So whatever the files I have to submit it to the department so that it can be further utilized, isn't it? So now that ownership which belongs to me should be changed to someone, some other faculty who will be handling that file in the later stages. Okay, so that is why changing the file ownership is needed. So let us see how we can change the file ownership. It requires the super user permission. Okay, so changing the file ownership, so anybody who is willing to change the file ownership cannot change. You should have the super user permission. We have discussed about su command, no, super user. So using that su command, you have to enter into the super user mode and then change it. See, su command you will execute, then it will ask for the password. So what password you should give? You should give the root password. Root password you should know to enter into the super user mode. Okay, so then after you enter the correct password here, it will give you the hash prompt. See, prompt changes from $prompt to hash prompt. It changes because you are in the super user mode now. Then let Kumar be the owner of Kumar be the owner and Metal be the group owner. Okay, for a file, let Kumar be the owner of the file and Metal be the group owner of the file. So now when you say ls minus l for the file xstart, see here Kumar is the owner and Metal is the group owner. Okay. Now you want to change it. To change file ownership to Sharma. So now Kumar, let us say Kumar is leaving the job. So this xstart file should be handed over to Sharma. So ownership of Kumar is changed to Sharma. Let us see. You can use chown command. Chown command is used for changing the ownership of a file. When you say chown Sharma xstart, the current owner, who is the Kumar, of the file xstart, current owner of xstart is Kumar, will be changed to Sharma now. Okay, will be changed to Sharma now by using the command called chown. Now again, if you execute ls minus l with xstart, then you can notice the change here. Previously it was Kumar, now it is changed to Sharma, right? Now it is changed to Sharma. Then you can say exit to come out of the super user mode. Okay, exit to come out of the super user mode. Then you will enter into the $prompt. Is that clear? So this is how you can change the ownership of the file. You can check that ownership of the file. Because here in Termux we have not created users, let us not try it, but when we learn to create users, then we will check this command. Okay, so Kumar can no longer edit xstart, as we have handed over the ownership of xstart file to Sharma from Kumar. So Kumar is no longer eligible to change the or edit the xstart file. Okay, there is no write permission for group also and others also. Did you notice? There is no write permission. Here you can see there is no write permission for group and others also. So write permission. So Kumar may be present in the group or Kumar may be others also, right? So Kumar is no longer eligible to change the contents of the xstart because even the group and others also doesn't have the write permission. Okay. He can't get back ownership either. So until unless Sharma is willing to give back the ownership, Kumar is it is not possible for Kumar to get back the ownership of the xstart file. But he can copy the file. Okay, that is possible. You can copy the file to his directory and become the owner of the copy, not the original file. Okay, the Kumar can become the owner of the copy which he copied from that directory of Sharma to his own directory, Kumar's directory, but he can become the owner of only that copy but not the original file. Okay, that is the thing. That is like when I am leaving the job, so my files I will hand it over to some faculty. Let us say HOD sir, I will hand over the all my files to HOD sir. So no longer I am able to access those files, but I can have a copy of those files, right, which I can edit, but I cannot edit the original files which I have handed over to HOD sir. Is that clear? Next command is chgroup, means to change the group of the group owner of the file. Okay, so this command changes the file's group owner. So no super user permission is required here. Okay, no super user permission is required. You need not have to enter into the SU mode. Simply let us say, let us check the who is the current group owner by using ls-l. The file name is department.list. Who is the group owner here? Here metal is the group owner of the file department.list, right? Who is the user? Kumar is the user, owner of the file, right? Metal is the group owner of the file. Now you want to change it from metal to another user called DBA. Okay, now you want to change the group from metal to DBA. Okay, from metal to DBA you would like to change. So how you write the command using chgroup? Chgroup means change group. Change group, chgroup DBA for the file department.list. So previously it is metal, now it is changed to DBA. So we have seen this method of execution also, right? Combining commands with a semicolon. So when you put a semicolon, this command will be ended. After this command's execution is ended, then the other command will be executed. Okay. So now after changing the group to DBA from metal, let us see whether it is changed or not by using -l. Yes, now previously it was metal, now it is changed to DBA, the group owner, isn't it? How to change? Using the command called chgroup. Now you can use chown command only to change the group also. Chown command is used for changing the owner of the file, right? But you can use chown command for changing the group of the file also. How it is? This is the syntax. Chown, first you will give name of the user to be changed, then a colon, then you will give the group of the new group owner of the file and the name of the file. Okay, this is how you give. Chown, this is the new user, this is the new group owner. Okay, this is the new owner of the file, this is the new group owner of the file, and the name of the file is department.list. So this is the command where both user of the file or the owner of the file and group owner of the file, both of them together in a single command you can change. Okay, using chown command also you can change the group owner of the command. This is the owner of the file, this is group owner of the file, and the name of the file is department.list. This is how you can change the group. Is that clear? Change both owner and group. This command will change both the owner and group of the file. And you can use -r for recursive operations. Changing group also recursively you can do. Okay, so let us see cat command in the next class, and the execution of change owner and change group I will leave it to you. You change it. Okay, and then because here users we have not yet created, right? After creating users we will use the chgroup and chown commands execution. Okay, so other commands we will discuss in the next class. Okay, that's all for today. Have a good day. Bye bye.